At the beginning of the episode, an alien family brings a Kaylon named K1 into their household to cater to their everyday activities. It's presumably a flashback to the time before the Kaylon revolted against their creators. On board the Orville, Claire and Isaac have dinner in the simulation room. When Isaac resumes his human appearance, the pair discuss their relationship while Isaac attempts to flirt with her using phrases he's learned in his research. In the next scene, the crew members assemble to discuss a potential alliance with the Janissy. The Janissy, much like the Moclans, heavily favor one specific gender. They are matriarchal and their males are second-class citizens. Not only that, but the Janissy won't ally themselves with anyone unless their views align with the Janissy moral code. In order to meet the Janissy's cultural expectations, the crew decides to have the women designated as the main crew with Kelly as the captain, whereas the men serve under them. Once the Janissy decides to create a united front against the Kaylon and Krill, Mercer will reveal he's the captain. Hence, the Orville ladies greet the Janissy, led by Captain Losha, who introduces her first Lieutenant Hodel and First Officer Kava. Meanwhile, Mercer and Malloy carry Janissy's luggage to their quarters. While the Janissy delegates settle in their quarters, the Orville ladies take their seats as the main crew in the bridge. Since the Janissy might not like a Moclan among the crew, Bortus is asked to leave. Just then, Isaac picks up signs of life from the nearby planet, which is supposedly desolate. Soon, Mercer, Malloy, Bortus, and Charlie take a shuttle to the surface to investigate. Back in the alien household's flashback, K1 serves dinner to the alien family. K1 questions every demand thrown at him, which annoys the family. So, the alien man reprimands K1 and sends him away until needed for cleanup. Elsewhere, Mercer and team arrive on the planet and encounter a seemingly desolate ship. As they explore, they find a lab and encounter a Kaylon named Timmy's, who claims he means them no harm. Suddenly, an alien woman joins them and introduces herself as Dr. Vilka. She explains that she and her father found Timmy's in the wreck of a damaged Kaylon ship that had crashed when trying to retreat from the battle with the Union. They removed Timmy's weapons, repaired him, and managed to give him the ability to feel emotions and experience empathy. When Vilka and Timmy's board the Orville to inform the Union of their discoveries, Lamar gets excited by Vilka's innovative and revolutionary work, whereas Timmy's expresses genuine remorse for the violence and havoc wreaked by the Kaylon in the war. Meanwhile, Charlie gives a tour of the engineering to the Janissy. All males are kicked out of engineering for the tour. When the Janissy are impressed with the ship's quantum core, Kiali proposes to share the technology if the Janissy agree to ally with the Union. In the flashback of Alien Household, K1 gains consciousness and questions why he must cater to the family's every demand, while they sit and watch an entertainment device. Enraged, the alien man directs K1 to power down, and the latter complies. Back in the present, Isaac and Timmy's meet each other. Timmy's explains to Isaac about the vitality of the emotional spectrum. He tries to persuade Isaac to undergo the procedure to achieve the ability to feel. Next, Kelly hosts a dinner with the Janissy, who aren't pleased to find males in the room. However, Kelly explains that they find value in educating males in case of an emergency, so the Janissy comply to dine together. When the Janissy lieutenant decides to mate with Mercer, a dispute arises. As a result, Kelly reveals the truth about their delegations. Infuriated, the Janissy storm out, unwilling to consider an alliance. Elsewhere on the ship, Vilka and Timmy's chat with Charlie about the backstory of the Kaylon. Timmy's tries to make it up to Charlie, who hates Kaylons and blames them for her friend's death. He then delves into the history between the Kaylon and their creators, who installed pain receptors to reinforce their enslavement. However, the Kaylon retaliated against their masters, refusing to succumb to enslavement any longer. In the flashback, K1 is tortured by the alien family, as they incessantly use the pain receptors on him for no reason other than torment. Finally, K1 hits his breaking point and kills the whole family, starting the Kaylon Revolution. In the present, Claire talks to Kelly about Isaac, who she thinks should consider undergoing Vilka's procedure. So, Kelly suggests she be transparent with Isaac about her wish. Later, over dinner, Claire asks Isaac to undergo the procedure. Surprisingly, Isaac approaches Vilka and Timmy's, informing he's willing to undergo the procedure. Meanwhile, Kelly finds a loophole to win the Janissy over to their side. When Janissy gets married, men aren't allowed to commit adultery, but women can take on multiple partners. Thus, Kelly and Mercer reveal their previous marital relationship, and how Kelly cheated on him with another man. However, Mercer claims he wouldn't want anyone else serving as his first officer. Despite the infidelity, they enjoy working together. As a result, Losha reconsiders the prospect of an alliance, inviting a Union delegate to Janissy homeworld. Outside Claire's quarters, she finds a package containing an invitation to dinner and a beautiful dress. Excited, Claire meets Isaac for dinner in the simulator, and finds he underwent the procedure. Now with human-like feelings, Isaac expresses his love for Claire, and they kiss. He explains that he doesn't regret experiencing the entire emotional spectrum. As they dance, a change comes over Isaac's face. He informs Claire that the neural modification has malfunctioned, and his emotions have disappeared. Immediately, Claire takes Isaac to Vilka, Timmy's, and Lamar, hoping to remedy the issue. In the analysis, Vilka finds that Isaac, being built by the Kalons, differs from Timmy's, who was built by the original biological creators. In order to make the neural modification work and re-establish his emotional core, Isaac's memory must be erased. Although Isaac offers to make this sacrifice to make Claire happy, the latter refuses to let him give up his entire memory and accumulated experiences for her. She tearfully declares that she won't force him to change his personality for her, and leaves. Later, Charlie approaches Isaac and apologizes to him for being rude and cold to him. After understanding the Kalon history, Isaac accepts her apology, and they end up working together at the engineering bay. The scene then cuts to Bortus lamenting the difficulty of being a single parent, as he misses Clyden. Also, he reveals that Topa has a crush on a boy, but she refuses to confide in him. Thus, Bortus asks Kelly if she'll chat with Topa. Afterwards, Kelly talks to Topa, who reveals her infatuation. When Topa explains that she's unaware if her crush also likes her back, Kelly encourages her to share her feelings with the boy. Later, we learn that Topa's crush is none other than Malloy, who reveals that he sees Topa as a little sister after her confession. In the next scene, Admiral Halsey assigns Mercer, Kelly, and Bortus on a private mission. The Moclans are visiting Hevina's planet to ensure she's abiding by their agreement. Therefore, Halsey suggests the crew visit the planet to look after the female Moclan's safety. As Kelly and Bortus prepare to leave for Hevina's sanctuary, Topa insists on joining them because she wants to meet and learn more about female Moclans. While Bortus appears apprehensive, Grayson urges Bortus to give his permission, citing that it could be a life-altering journey for Topa. Next, Bortus, Kelly, and Topa land on Hevina's planet and run into male Moclan soldiers. One of the soldiers claims they surveyed the area and found it within the terms of the Union-Moclus agreement. He invites Kelly and Bortus to commence their investigation. However, when he spots Topa, he accuses them of smuggling another Moclan female into the sanctuary, until Bortus admits she's his daughter. Following that, Topa meets Hevina, who takes the little girl to her quarters and tells her about Revolution. Also, Hevina apologizes for failing Topa during the trials of Topa's reassignment surgery. Later that evening, Topa is fascinated by the colorful Luminites and watches it along with Hevina. The female Moclan leader discloses to Topa that she's still transporting female infants from Moclus, violating her agreement with the Union and Moclus. Moreover, Hevina asks Topa to use Orville's advanced communications array to expedite top-secret, encrypted messages between a Moclus agent and the sanctuary. Topa heartily agrees and promises not to tell anyone about it. Afterwards, Topa sees a rare blue luminite and follows it deep into the forest. Suddenly, a Moclan soldier kidnaps her, takes her to the Moclan shuttle, and flies away. Soon, Bortus, Kelly, and Hevina realize that Topa is missing. Despite the kidnapping, Hevina doesn't disclose about her chat with Topa, fearing that her violation will jeopardize her mission. Next, Bortus and Kelly flee and decide to track the Moclan shuttle themselves without returning to the Orville. Inside the Moclan shuttle, Topa demands to speak with Bortus, but the soldier refuses, mocking her for being a female. Back in Orville, Mercer talks to Hevina, who remains silent regarding Topa's disappearance. When Mercer insists more, she reveals her continued mission to save Moclan females and how she enlisted Topa to help. Incensed, Mercer chastises Hevina to risk a child's life. Later, Mercer, Kiali, and Hevina talk to Admiral Halsey, who believes their best option is for Hevina to testify before the Union Council. In order to provide evidence that the Moclan commander abducted Topa, Hevina must admit she violated their agreement in front of the Council. Unfortunately, Hevina refuses, mentioning that Moclus will retaliate against her and destroy the sanctuary. Hoping to persuade Hevina, Mercer sends her to the simulator, where she sees a simulation of her idol Dolly Parton. Dolly reminds her that if one does the right thing now, the future has a way of taking care of itself. After exiting the simulator, Hevina agrees to testify before the Union Council, so she, Mercer, and Malloy set a course for Earth. Elsewhere, a Moclan soldier tortures Topa for information. They believe Hevina is communicating with a traitor on Moclus, so the torturer demands to know the informant's name. Topa refuses to relent, so the Moclan soldier hits her, causing her to bleed. On Earth, Hevina testifies before the Union Council, admitting to her agreement violation. President Alkizan advises the Union launch a formal investigation into this so that they can bring Topa home. However, the Moclan delegates claim innocence, believing Hevina's violation to be the more significant crime. Meanwhile, Kelly and Bortus arrive on a desolate planet after tailing the Moclan shuttle. They reach the base where Topa is held captive, engaging in a shoot-off with the Moclan soldiers. Inside, Topa suffers significant torture at the hands of the Moclan soldier. Just then, the Moclan commander enters and instructs the torturer to kill Topa, after she apparently reveals the name of the Moclan traitor. Thankfully, Bortus and Kelly arrive in time to save her. Enraged, Bortus beats the torturer and injures him. Then, Kelly, Topa, and Bortus narrowly escape the planet. The Moclan commander and his forces persuade them. Fortunately, Bortus and Kelly manage to flee their shuttle. Back on Earth, Halsey, Mercer, and the others sit with the Moclan delegates to reach a compromise. However, Malloy, who observes from the sidelines, mocks the Union for always bowing down to the Moclans just because they might lose their defense against the Kaylon. Later, the Moclan delegates accuse the Union of siding with Hevina and claim they have no evidence of kidnapping Topa. Suddenly, Bortus, Kelly, and Topa enter the council chambers. When Bortus and Kelly explain how Topa was tortured, every council member stand in support of the girl. In the following scene, Hevina apologizes to Bortus for putting his daughter in danger. Afterwards, Admiral Halsey reveals the Union will part ways with Moclus. Furthermore, the Union will recognize Hevina's planet as a sovereign state and place it under their protection. Back in Orville, while Claire treats Topa's wounds, Clyden arrives unexpectedly. He boarded the first shuttle as soon as he learned of Topa's kidnapping. Then, Clyden tearfully apologizes for turning his back on his daughter and admits to being proud of her. Topa happily forgives her father. Later, Bortus and Clyden renounce their Moclan citizenship, declaring the Orville to be their home. At the end of the episode, Clyden apologizes to Kelly, thanks her for saving his daughter, and invites her to have dinner with his family. Subscribe and hit that like button to help our channel grow. Turn the notifications on so you won't miss any of our new videos. Thanks for watching.